Imagine a man who had conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, and reshaped the Roman Republic into a new kind of empire. Julius Caesar was the most powerful leader of his age, celebrated as a hero by the masses, feared as a tyrant by the elite. Yet in March of 44 BCE, a circle of Rome's most prominent senators plotted his death in the very heart of the city he controlled. Their conspiracy would unfold in broad daylight, shocking the ancient world and echoing through history for more than 2,000 years. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest videos. By early 44 BCE, Caesar stood at the pinnacle of power. After years of civil war, he held the title of Dictator Perpetuo, dictator for life. He had defeated his rivals Pompey and the remnants of the Senate's armies, and he ruled Rome with unrivaled authority. Many common citizens adored him for his generous reforms. He distributed land to veterans, relieved debt, reformed the calendar, and expanded citizenship to conquered territories. But Rome's traditional aristocracy, the old Republican families who once shared power through the Senate, watched these changes with growing alarm. The Roman Republic had always prized the balance of power. Even in times of crisis, dictators were meant to serve for only 6 months before relinquishing authority. Caesar's lifetime appointments seemed to break every sacred tradition. Senators whispered that he planned to make himself king, a title Romans despised since the expulsion of their last monarch centuries earlier. Rumors spread that he intended to wear a crown during the upcoming festival of the Lupercalia. When his ally Mark Antony publicly offered him a diadem, Caesar dramatically refused, but the damage was done. To many, it looked like a carefully staged performance to test the crowd's reaction. Among those most troubled by Caesar's power were men who had once been his allies. Marcus Junius Brutus, the son of Caesar's former mistress Servilia, was widely respected for his honor and intellect. Gaius Cassius Longinus, a seasoned general, resented Caesar's dominance and feared the loss of republican liberty. Together with senators like Decimus Brutus, Trebonius, and Casca, they formed a conspiracy. Their plan was simple but deadly: kill Caesar before he could consolidate absolute rule and restore the Senate as the heart of Roman government. The conspirators called themselves liberators, claiming they acted not for personal gain, but for the freedom of Rome. They held secret meetings in private homes and gardens, often under the cover of social gatherings. According to ancient sources like Plutarch and Suetonius, their number eventually grew to more than 60 senators. Yet, secrecy was maintained through careful compartmentalization. Few knew the full details, and even Caesar's network of spies failed to detect the plot. The chosen date was March 15th, the Ides of March, when Caesar was scheduled to attend a session of the Senate in the Theater of Pompey. Ironically, this location was a temporary meeting place while the traditional Senate house was being renovated. It was also a symbolic site. Pompey, once Caesar's greatest rival, had been defeated and killed years earlier, and the Senate now gathered in a building adorned with Pompey's statue. Ancient accounts tell of ominous warnings in the days leading up to the meeting. A soothsayer reportedly told Caesar to beware the Ides of March. His wife Calpurnia dreamed of his body covered in blood and begged him not to attend. Even his trusted advisor Spurina advised caution. On the morning of the session, Caesar hesitated. Feeling unwell, he considered postponing. But one of the conspirators, Decimus Brutus, persuaded him to go, fearing that a delay might expose the plot. Caesar arrived at the Senate around midday, wearing his crimson robe of office. As he took his seat, the conspirators closed in under the pretext of presenting a petition. Tullius Cimber approached first, asking Caesar to recall his exiled brother. When Caesar refused, Cimber grabbed his toga and pulled it down from his shoulders, the signal to attack. Casca struck the first blow, grazing Caesar's neck with a dagger. Startled, Caesar shouted, "Casca, you villain, what are you doing?" Within seconds, the rest joined in, stabbing him from all sides. Ancient historians claim he received 23 wounds, though only 1 or 2 were fatal. Perhaps the most famous detail is Caesar's reaction to seeing Brutus among the attackers. According to Suetonius, he uttered the words, "Et tu, Brute?" You too, Brutus, before pulling his toga over his head and collapsing at the base of Pompey's statue. Whether he actually spoke these words or not, the image of betrayal by a trusted friend became immortal. The assassins expected to be hailed as liberators. Instead, chaos erupted. Senators fled in panic, and the conspirators marched to the Capitoline Hill, shouting that they had saved the Republic. But the Roman people did not rise to celebrate. Many citizens loved Caesar and feared a return to civil war. Mark Antony, who had narrowly escaped the attack, used his position as consul to rally support. At Caesar's funeral, he delivered a fiery speech, displaying Caesar's blood-stained cloak and will, which generously bequeathed money to the Roman people. The crowd rioted, burning the homes of several conspirators and forcing them to flee Rome. Far from restoring the Republic, Caesar's murder plunged Rome into another round of civil wars. Brutus and Cassius raised armies in the east but were defeated by Antony and Caesar's heir Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BCE. Octavian ultimately emerged as Rome's first emperor, creating the very monarchy the conspirators had sought to prevent. In killing Caesar, they unwittingly accelerated the end of the Republic they claimed to defend. The final days of Julius Caesar reveal striking contrasts. He was both a populist hero and an ambitious autocrat, a brilliant general who believed he could reform a broken political system, but underestimated the depth of elite resistance. The conspirators saw themselves as saviors, yet their actions unleashed even greater tyranny. History's verdict remains complex. Was Caesar a would-be king who needed to be stopped, or a visionary leader destroyed by jealous rivals? Archaeology continues to shed light on this dramatic moment. In 2012, Spanish researchers announced they had identified the very spot in Rome where Caesar was stabbed, marked by a concrete structure built by Augustus to memorialize or perhaps sanitize the site. Visitors to the Largo di Torre, Argentina can still see the ruins of the Theater of Pompey, where stray cats now lounge among the columns that once witnessed the Republic's most infamous murder. The assassination of Julius Caesar reminds us that power and principle often collide with unpredictable consequences. The liberators believed that killing one man would save the Republic, but their daggers only hastened its transformation into an empire. Caesar's name lives on in titles like Tsar and Kaiser, proof that his influence survived the blades of his enemies. As we reflect on the Ides of March, we are left with enduring questions. Could the Republic have survived if Caesar had lived? Was his death an act of patriotism or political revenge? History offers no easy answers, only the haunting image of a leader struck down by those he once called friends. If this journey into Rome's most famous conspiracy intrigued you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of history. What do you think? Was Julius Caesar's assassination a defense of freedom, or the tragic spark that lit the fire of empire?